You are listening to the Soul Ascension Show with Angel Healing founder Calista. Welcome into our sacred space where you can truly be your radiant self. It's time to get inspired, to get creative, to be who you came here to be. Rise and shine. All is here for you.
Hi, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Soul Ascension Show with me, your host, Calista. Today we continue on with our elemental series that I know many of you are enjoying, and I'm really loving what's flowing through and finding that each show theme I'm really living and breathing in its run-up, perhaps to be able to share more authentically, maybe to make the theme really current in my reality. I'm not too sure, but just going with it anyway. And today's theme is by far no exception because it's all about rising and standing in your personal power. And there've certainly been opportunities, shall we say, to become clearer and stronger lately. And although sometimes it can feel difficult to wade through what feels like a challenge or an opposition from others, or an opposition that you're placing on yourself, I'm reminded by the fire elementals, the dragons, who will be coming forward this evening, that breakdowns are needed to allow those breakthroughs, to allow the clouds to part and to allow that ray of light into our life to have that clarity. So it's my hope that this show will bring you the clarity, the peace, the power, the purpose that you are seeking at this time. And tonight's show, this hour, I'll be sharing some experiences of the dragons and asking our ancient ancestors to share their teachings on what it means to become self-empowered, to discover and embody who we truly are, and to be in that authentic space, to live and breathe it every day. Before we go into that discussion, let's take a moment to just settle ourselves, to call back our power from the day, anyone that we've given it to, any situations, any conversations, anything that we've been putting ourselves in. Let's just close our eyes. If you're not driving, if it's okay to do so, just close your eyes and take a big breath in with me and breathe out. Breathing in, drawing back presence, your energy from the events of your day, and breathing out deeply. Breathing in once more, really filling up your beautiful body with breath, with purpose, and breathing out. And I'm going to call forward and invoke the dragons to come forward and greet us, to come into your space, to ground our energy, and to help us to be really here, to be really here, to be present to all that's shared. And so it is. And each one of us has our own personal dragon guide, beautiful being in spirit that walks with us. So I'm going to call forward your own personal guide right now to be present. Breathing in their presence. You might find that your heart starts to speed up its tempo. You might be feeling warmer as they come into your space. And we ask the dragons to continue to inspire, to support, and invigorate us at soul level tonight for our highest and best, to share your teachings, divine souls, to evolve the current knowledge of who you are, how we can best work with you to serve humanity and serve our own personal path. And as we open up our hearts, we open up to your love, and we thank you for being here and sharing your wisdom. Thank you. And if you have any personal intentions for the show tonight, if there's something that you really want to clear, because the dragons are the most amazing allies to call on to transmute and alchemize. So whatever your intentions are, just saying that to yourself, beautiful soul. And breathing out. It's been heard and it will come in for you. So in the last show we shared about the air elementals and how the abundance fairies in particular can support streams of prosperity to open up in your life. And now we take our focus from that place of openness into the passionate, enigmatic fire elementals, beings of creation that inspire, motivate and alchemize energy like no other spirit. My first experience of the fire elementals takes me back a few years ago, and at that time I was crafting soaps and infusing them with Reiki, angel and elemental frequencies, and together with the Fae and the unicorns and the mermaids, we all crafted gorgeous skincare and gorgeous soaps, but none of these products had the light of the fire elementals in. And just looking back into that, I wonder why that was. Perhaps it would have been too much. I don't know. But at that point in my life, I didn't know much about the fire elementals other than within each candle flame, within each body of fire, there lived a salamander, a long, lean being of pure fire that you could attune to bring about action into your life. And one night I decided to consciously ask the spirit of the salamander to come forth and to share more about who they were. And I'd read some books on the elementals. The one that's popping out to me right now was Ted Andrews' Meet Your Spirit Guides, or Meet Your Spirit Team. And I recommend that book. Ted Andrews was a great author. And he talked about the salamanders. But I wanted to have that experience myself. So one night I asked them to consciously come forward. I filled up the bath. At that time, and I still do actually, love to meditate in the bath and just speak with different beings, speak with my spirit team. So I filled the bath, I got in, I placed a candle right in front of my vision and I lit it, and I asked for the salamander to come forward. And I was looking into the flame and I was just concentrating and allowing that beautiful being to come forward. And all of a sudden, I just felt this huge presence, not this tiny little snake-like being in the flame, but a huge presence fill up my entire bathroom. And I had the shower curtain drawn. But I couldn't see what was behind the shower curtain, but oh my Lord, I felt it. And I felt rooted in the bath, like I couldn't move my body. It wasn't uncomfortable, it wasn't fearful, it was just an enormous presence. To that point in my life, I'd never came across the energy of that, and I thought, way is this a salamander, this little being that lives in a candle? I knew in my heart it was a dragon, and I couldn't see. My clairvoyance hadn't really kicked in back then. It was more my clear cognizance, the clear knowing. I had a knowing that behind the curtain and encompassing my whole bathroom was the head of this huge big dragon. And it didn't speak. And I was sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? I was quite naive at that point. I didn't have any spiritual teachers around me. So I just breathed and I just let that experience kind of settle. And he was behind my shower curtain for perhaps only about 2 minutes, but it felt like a lifetime. He just came in almost as if I just opened the door and didn't really know what I was opening up to. He came in and then discovered it was just me and then left, but the presence was enormous, and I will always feel that. I will always remember that. I tuned into that dragon afterwards, and what came forward was he was an elder. Dragons are complete masters. They have their own evolution, and who came forward was a very old elder that did not talk but led the way for me to meet my own personal guide, Eleanor, who is a collective consciousness of many types of dragons. And she, from working with her in meditation, I came to find lots of past life experiences with Eleanor. I saw myself having physical lives with dragons, some where we were kind to each other, some where the role that I had chosen in that life, I actually was fighting against the dragon. So it was very mixed, my experience. But Eleanor held no judgment, and I had to make peace with her, though. I had to make a lot of peace with killing dragons and being at war with them. It was just, for whatever reason, my soul was showing me those experiences to make peace with those lifetimes. But Eleanor just smiled and said, "You don't have to. You don't have to bow down to me. You don't have to give me your apologies. All is well. All is well. All is divine." And she really opened the door for me to make peace with a lot of my past lives, to quell and get rid of a lot of fears, because dragons hold that space for us to release fear and understand that it is just an illusion. We need fear often as a leverage point to really know our true power and to rise. But when we're ready to get rid of it, to clear it, the dragons can help to clear that. They are so powerful. So I want to share a little bit about what dragons are, where they came from, and all that jazz that she shared with me, because there's not much out there in current literature. So sharing this is just my experience so far with them. So Eleanor shares that the dragons have been around since humankind have been here, and in fact predate humankind, predate our consciousness. Far from the malevolent seeming beings that myth has often portrayed, the dragons are very kind beings, and in their words they say, "It is our force against fear that manifests the form that we take." It's our force against fear that manifests the form that we take. So they have to be this huge seeming form, almost like gargoyles. Have you ever seen gargoyles on a church? They are actually benevolent souls that actually chase away what was often perceived as dark entities. So they have to take that gnarly, that huge form. But in truth, the dragons aren't physical. They're ethereal beings, and they can be perceived as physical beings when you can encounter them at their earthly retreats. And these home from homes are located all over the earth. They exist at an etheric level. When most of the retreats are located on ley lines, or more rightly known as dragon lines, that was their old term. And while other retreats lay underground near the Earth's core where it's very, very warm. Dragons also live between realms of consciousness. They are masters at interdimensional travel, and their chief role is to transmute fear-based energy from the physical planes of consciousness. And even though that's a huge purpose and huge role that they have, they also are very amenable if you want to just call them in yourself and ask them to transmute away any fear-based perceptions, any limiting beliefs that you feel that you're ready to shed. They will happily help you transmute that. For those on their spiritual path, the dragons bring forward hope, this beautiful mirror of hope. They also share the teaching that fear is a trapping that's placed in our world to hold man in a state of resistance. They give us courage when we're ready to step forward fearlessly with only love in our hearts. For those already aware on their path, they guide to stay present in the moment and observe life rather than react to it. They hold the space that our true power is always within us. It's always within us, and it's normally the true power that we have, that we fear, not any darkness that the mind can conjure up. It's our power that perhaps we self-sabotage against or hold resistance again. But when we're ready to let that go, wow, we step into our worthiness, we step into our trust, and we realize that we have a huge contribution to creation that each of us do. And I'd like to share this little message that Eleanor gave me to share with you all. She says, "You're all God's children, all beautiful, creative, and powerful beyond measure. You are always held in supreme love and light, for you are this one true grace. Allow the understanding of who you are at source level to enter your awareness. Be love, and love will be returned to you. And when you are ready, call on me or your known dragon guide in meditation, which we will do later on tonight, and we will lift you and hold you perfectly as you sail through the veils of your ascension." It's a really beautiful message. So I thank Eleanor, and she does say that you can call on her. She is a collective consciousness. She's showing me the picture of Abraham Hicks. If you're aware of Abraham Hicks, so it's Esther Hicks who channels a collective consciousness known as Abraham. Well, Eleanor acts in the same way as Abraham. She is a collective consciousness. She's many, many different beings. A lot of them dragon, some of them on different realms. We'll just leave it like that. But she is a beautiful, benevolent soul that you can call on to help shed fear when you're ready. So tonight's topic is all about rising in your personal power. What does that mean for you? Your personal power, becoming self-empowered. It's a question that I've been putting a lot to my family and friends lately because it means something different to each of us. There's no right or wrong here. It's only what's important to us. And becoming self-empowered can result automatically from difficult life experiences that perhaps have stretched us to initiate a complete overhaul in our thinking. Or the path of self-empowerment can arise when we are ready to face and unlearn previous conditions that have been oppressed upon us. Both paths are purposeful, for they take us to the core of our being and show us what's truly important. And through this pacification, our true self can rise. And the dragons show us, they hold this mirror, that we are so powerful. It's the same power that we hold that creates worlds. And just like riding a bike, once self-empowerment is embodied, there's no return to the previous way of being. Trying to return to an old perspective after gaining a greater awareness is like trying to ride a bicycle backwards. Technically possible, but not especially enjoyable. So with the support of the dragons, throughout this podcast, I'm going to invite you, and I'm going to hold the space for myself as well, to shed old perceptions and stories that have automatically been leading your life and take your power back. And it's time to shed those automatic sayings off. Well, this is the way it's always been, so I'm going to continue on my life like this. Or this is how my mother, my father, my partner, my teacher taught me how to be. Or what's often said to me is, I have no power to change anything. I'll just let life happen to me. And does that resonate with you, beautiful souls? And if it does, know that there is so much power here. There is your power, your ineffable power within you to shed the old and embrace the now. Embrace this time for you. Embrace your power. So I'm going to go to a quick break, and then I want to take us into a journey to open up the space to release any fears, to release any conditionings, any limiting beliefs, and to come into your personal power, whatever that means for you. So I will see you on the other side of this short break. Thank you.
For powerful, on-purpose meditations, visit vibedeck.com/Calista. Active energy journeys to empower prosperity, joy, wellness, and love to flow freely in your life. For online courses and personal sessions, visit facebook.com/Calista Ascension. Be who you came here to be. Arise and shine.
Welcome back, beautiful souls. You're listening to the Soul Ascension Show. And our theme tonight is all about rising in your power with the help of the fire elementals, the dragons. On vibedeck.com, there is 2 dragon meditations that I want to highlight. One is called Meet Your Dragon Guide, and the other one is Become Self-Empowered. And both are enhanced with the frequency of Sunstone Crystal. Sunstone, the crystal of leadership, strength, freedom, and joy. If you have a moment, do check out these meditations because they will add to what we're sharing today, and they'll go into much more depth as well. We can only share so much on these hours that seem to go like quicksand. But for now, let's go into our journey. So if you're nice and comfortable, let's close our eyes and begin to relax your body down with your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. In and out. On your next breath in, drawing in a beautiful golden light. Breathing in and breathing it out. Letting this golden light flow into your body, flooding your cells, your blood, your organs, your skin, every part of you. And as you breathe out that golden frequency into your room. Dissolving away anything that's not of divine love. Dissolving away anything that's not you. Surrendering all to Source. Bringing your focus into your heart. Breathing in the golden light into your heart now. Starting to see a golden flame being birthed right in the center of your heart. And I'm asking Eleanor and the dragon, your own dragon guide, to be present with you. And hold the space as this sacred flame of the dragon, this flame within your heart, begins to grow and grow. Grow and grow, becoming powerful, becoming potent. Feeling its warmth, feeling your heart open, front, back, the sides. Beautiful golden light streaming out of your heart. This flame burning so pure within you. And your dragon is asking you to consciously place all the fears that you feel that you're carrying into this flame. Any doubts about moving forward in your life, about making changes, about speaking to others, sharing your truth with them, doubts and fears about setting goals, manifesting your dreams, doubts perhaps that you're not good enough, that whatever you're feeling that you know is not true, is not you at your core. Place into this flame. And the flames will transmute all that's no longer needed, burning them away now, giving them to Source. And so it is. And anything else you feel that you want to let go of at this time, just placing it in this flame. Any past hurts, any unforgiveness, any ties or attachments, fears, phobias, knowing that this flame can transmute it all. No longer do you need these stories or attachments. No longer do you need fear. For courage is here. Clarity is here. Strength is here for you. Feeling your power rise. Feeling your presence expand and expand. How beautiful you are. How powerful you are. And your dragon guide is sharing that sometimes in your life it can feel that you have given away your power. You've given your power to another or allowed someone else to take it. Or perhaps you feel you've lost a part of yourself, point in your life. Now is the time to reclaim what you have given away, had taken away or lost. Calling back all of yourself now into your heart. Breathing in and breathing out. Forgiving those that you feel have taken your joy, your innocence, your beauty, your power. Forgiving them. Sidestepping blame. Coming into your power. Continuing to call back anything that you feel you have lost or given away. Reclaiming it all. Growing and expanding ever more. Asking your personal dragon guide to also bestow into your awareness right now a gift that best serves your life at this point. And it may reflect your purpose, something to help your purpose here on earth, something to remind you of your purpose, of your power, of that innate strength you hold within. Just receive this gift now. Giving your dragon gratitude. Feeling into all that you are, smiling and allowing your whole body to smile. Feeling your radiance, remembering your divinity, your grace, We ask your dragon guide to step back as we slowly come out of the journey, ever so gently, beginning to wake up your fingers and toes. Taking a big breath in and breathing yourself back into the space, back into your room. And if you have some water, perhaps taking a drink, know that a flame is forever placed within your heart. Your spirit will remove it when it's ready, but it's there and it will continue to alchemize, to transform all that serves you at this point. So how did that journey feel for you? Do you have any questions that you would like to ask? I know that there's lots of people in the chat room. If you have any questions about that journey or would like to share some feedback, what does becoming self-empowered, what does that feel like? How did that journey feel like to you? I'm going to go to producer Greg and ask if he has any questions. And if he doesn't, we will just go on with the rest of the show.
Hi, Calista.
Hi, Greg. Have you got any questions?
I have a question. I was just wondering, I've seen that in certain situations, some people that I would have considered strong, that, situations that arise again and again, they lose their power to the same things over and over. Is there any way to help these people to regain it and to get through this? If it's always the same things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I feel you. I'm going to put you back on mute. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
That's a really good question. I love going to Greg. I often ask him before the show, do you have any questions that you want to put forward before? And he always says no. He always says, I'll just listen and you can ask me. And that's a really powerful question, and it's something that I've actually been speaking to Greg about today and with other people around me who seem to just be cycling old stories. It's the same learning that keeps coming up, and I know that you're going through that right now, Greg, and I know that I'm having an opportunity to really understand that more in my life as well. And it will continue to happen. You will continue to manifest a lesson or a learning or a truth, and if you don't take that opportunity when it arises in your life, it will come back through another guise further down the line. It might be represented through different people or different situations, but the learning at that core will be the same until you are ready to take the road less traveled and understand what is being presented and what you can learn from that. A good way, when you're faced with an opportunity like that for growth, is to ask yourself 3 questions, and it always comes back to love for me. 3 questions. 1, how can I love more in this situation? Can I love myself more? Can I love this person more? Can I love this situation more? The second is, how can I give more love? How can I give more love in this? How can I give more love to this person? How can I receive more love from this person? Or can I give more love to myself? And the third is, how can I be more love? How can I just be centered, be neutral, take the higher perspective of what's truly going on, not be reactive to it, and just observe, just quietly be in love. And sometimes a situation that's coming up, that's cycling, is actually asking for you to let go and surrender. And that's what it's been for me lately. My power has shown me that all I need to do in this situation that's continued to cycle is just to let go and trust and surrender. And I know for you, Greg, it's not to go into your personal what's going on for you right now, but your personal power is to express yourself and to allow the other person to express themselves and to really hear what they're saying. And I asked my mum as well what personal power means for her lately, and it's freedom. And what's going on in her life is she's having a challenge against her freedom, and it's really interesting. But if you can apply these 3 questions, how can I give more love, how can I receive more love, and how can I be more love, there will be 1 or perhaps 2 or all 3 that you can apply to that situation that will bring it into balance, so it's not going to be repeated down the line, so you can reap whatever is needed, whatever rich, deep teachings your soul is ready to take on board. They will be there for you. So in that meditation, we also shared ways for you to know yourself, for ways for you to understand where you've given your power away, allowed someone to take it, or where you have lost a part of yourself. So it might be of purpose to just share a little bit, share an experience with you. So in the past, in my younger days, I aligned to experiences of sexual abuse, and I blamed others for taking away my innocence and my ability to feel safe and comfortable in my own body. And for years I lived in anger and was very much, I put a lot of blocks and a lot of masks around myself, and I blamed myself, and I blamed the men who had hurt me as well. I blamed them for the self-harm that I did to my skin, for the purging my food after eating, and the many ways that I sabotaged myself. And I just wanted to move on with my life, but felt completely tangled and boxed in. And I let my abusers run my life. And it was easy to use them as an excuse for how I was feeling. But when I awoke spiritually, when I became self-aware, I started to wade through my past and slowly but surely found ways to leverage myself forward. And again, it wasn't easy, and it certainly was the road less travelled, but I eventually found myself again. And what helped me the most was remembering that I couldn't affect the past, but I could most certainly change my now and my future reality. And this took me away from the density of what I'd aligned to and focused instead on where I wanted to be, and through this process became empowered. So if you feel that you've lost your power, if that meditation maybe helped a little bit, but there's still some more to go, are you ready to reclaim it? Honestly, are you ready to reclaim it? Are you ready to drop the stories, to drop victimhood, to drop the self-identification with whatever has been, present in your reality that's stopped you from really being your true, authentic self? Who do you need to forgive in the process as well to stand in your power again? And all of us carry these stories. Some wear them like badges of honour that ironically profess, look at me, I was wounded in battle, yet survived. Others carry their stories as heavy weights that they somehow can't put down. But if we allow our stories to become our identity, they swiftly become our truth. But they're never our real truth. They only define who we are if we allow. Yet when we're ready to see the vaster perspective, we remember that we are creator beings, multidimensional authors of our own script, with the power in each moment to affect our reality, either flowing forward or standing still. And through the vantage of our soul and the mirror that the dragon holds up, we've made the decision before we incarnate. We've made the decision of all our experiences. We've got a rough template, and we knew that all experiences in physical life are valuable. We didn't go into this life with blinkers on. We knew exactly what was going to happen, and we knew that all experiences contribute to the expansion of the universe, and all are purposeful. even though I would never wish abuse on anyone or hurt or bulimia that I had as well, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but I've accepted it that was part of my journey to come through those times and to use my experience to help others, which I've been able to do. And for that, I'm grateful. I can see the appreciation, and because of that, I've let go of the story and I've came back into my power. So maybe, Greg, and those listening, it could be purposeful for you to ask yourself, what stories are dictating your life, and what would it take for you to let them go? And everything that triggers an emotional response within you, be it past situations or present ones, is an opportunity for expansion and a deeper understanding into who you are and what your purpose is in this life. And when reflecting on the stories that are dictating your life, look inside yourself with compassion and honesty. You can easily shift the blame and victimhood through changing your perspective and taking the power back into yourself. Observe what's presenting rather than reacting, and find what you can appreciate, no matter what's small, and the teachings will reveal themselves, and those cycles will stop repeating. And there's a certain amount of trust and faith that you have to have when you're reclaiming your power. Do you feel that you have trust in your life? Do you trust life? Do you trust yourself? And if you don't, if you've answered no, ask yourself what's standing in your way. What's standing in your way from reclaiming your power? If it's somebody else, well, know that they don't live your life. You live your life. So what would it take for you to let them go, that perception, and come back? What would it take? Sometimes visualizing, like we did in the last podcast, visualizing where we want to be rather than looking at the reality of where we are, helps us to move forward. And if you believe, and if you're finding that you do trust life, you do trust yourself, then that is wonderful. It means that you know that you're the creator of your life, that you can shift anything. You can be all that you came here to be. Just asking what else the dragons would like to share on this. I'm going to go back to Greg. I'm feeling really inspired just to talk to Greg and ask if that has helped him, and ask if he has any more questions.
Hi, Calista. I don't have a question. It's more like just something to add. I was just going to say, maybe people are going to find themselves triggered by what you're saying, because that's how they've identified themselves. And I was just wondering how you would talk them out of, being triggered or feeling angry, but this happened to me and it was so awful. How do I just let it go? How do I just, because for a lot of people, it's how they've identified themselves. It's been part of them for so long, and to just let it go is a really big thing. So I just wondered what advice you would have for someone with that.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, it's not simple. It's not simply switching a switch and all of a sudden you're this wonderful, compassionate being and you've forgiven everybody. It's definitely a journey. What I would say to that one is, in my yoga teachings, our teacher was talking about how the other person is always you. And there's so much beauty and simplicity, but such profound wisdom in that as well. So everything that's presenting in your life, if somebody's triggering you, then normally that's an aspect within you that you've still got to give love to. So compassion, the more compassion that you can bring yourself. Compassion is a stage and a step that will get you to where you are and back into your power. And as I say, it is a journey. What I've been sharing perhaps will be triggering people. I understand that, sometimes it can be a challenging journey to step into your power. Just take it easy, be compassionate, bring the love, ask those 3 questions. Where can I be love? Where can I give love? Where can I receive more love? And if it's just tiny little steps, know that they are profound steps. They are taking you where you want to be. I'm going to ask the dragons just to tune in and if there's anything else that they want to share. Like all elementals, they say to just go outside in nature. That is the most inexpensive therapy you can ever have, is just to go outside in nature and to take a walk, or simply just to sit in the garden, to sit by a tree, and to ask the elementals to bring in healing, because there's layers of awareness. There's layers of emotion. Sometimes we're angry at what's happened in our life, and we become so self-identified as stories, perhaps stories of disease or stories of abuse or stories of betrayal, and that becomes who we are. So we can't just let that go overnight, because it would be a huge shock to our system. But by asking the elementals to help, by going out into nature every day, they can help chip away at these stories, chip away at what doesn't feel right for us anymore to be carrying as a burden. And they will help you. They absolutely will help you. Opening your heart, asking the dragons to open your heart, asking the angels to open your heart every day, to forgive yourself, to forgive others, because the path of forgiveness is often the path that many take to come into their personal power. So asking them to open your heart is a very powerful tool. Appreciating what you can in the moment, being as general as you can. So if, for example, you wanted to just clear the perceptions, clear the memories of abuse, you could just, to begin with, start to be compassionate to yourself, start to be loving, open your heart. Forgiveness will come in time. The compassion to others who were part of that journey will come in time, but just focus on yourself as much as you can. Bring love to yourself as much as you can, and lean into your spirit. Lean into your spirit. Like I said at the start of the podcast, where I am in my life right now, the path of personal power for me is one of just letting go and letting my spirit take charge in this one. And it's a humble path that I've been needing to take for a particular pattern that keeps repeating. It's just a path of humility, a path of letting go that I need to take. So just whatever is highest and best for you, nature will know, your higher self will know. Lean into that space. Take your time, have patience, and the forgiveness will come. Your power will come back. The power that you feel you have lost or had taken away from yourself will come back. It truly will. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay. Greg, did that answer your question?
Yeah, that was very helpful. Yeah. Just chipping away one bit at a time. You know, you can't do it all in a one or become some sort of Buddha just because you want to let everything go. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you have... Thanks, Greg. And also just honour where you are at any given time. Sometimes it's cathartic to get angry, to vent, to allow somebody that you trust and that you love just to hold space for you to just share how you're feeling, and don't feel bad that you're angry. Don't feel bad that you're frustrated, or that you feel pissed off about a situation or a person, really honor where you are at any given time. But when you're ready to really let go of the old, of the stories, know that you can. And you were sharing something last night, Greg, with me that I really loved. It was a Bruce Lee quote that I can't quote verbatim because I have total baby brain right now and can't seem to remember anything. But it goes something like this: for perfection, you don't need to add anything. You just need to take away. And it's so true. You know, we're born into this life. We go through the veil of amnesia, so we forget that we are powerful beyond measure. We forget that we're divine. We forget that we are masters of our reality. We forget that we are connected to one another, that we have the ability to affect change. We forget all of this. And we're brought into this life. We're I can't say that word. We are washed with other people's emotions and conditionings, and their teachings are pressed upon us from our parents, from our friends, from our peers, to our teachers. We can lose ourselves in the identifications of becoming a mother and a father and this, that, and the other, and we forget who we are. But it's only when we take that path of awareness, when we start to wake up to something more, to a greater possibility, that we start this process of shedding and letting go. We go through those many layers of the onion until we reach the core and the true heart of who we are. And then we remember the simplicity of life, that we can at any given moment, the stories, drop the fear, drop the lack, drop the resistance, drop the blame, and breathe. Come into our hearts and just remember that all is truly love. That love is what we're created from, love is what we will return to, and love is the key and the glue that holds us all together. And every situation can be soothed by love. If we love ourselves, if we love another, if we are willing to see the God within another individual, then we see God in everything. Then we see the divine within ourselves, and we step into that path of true power. True power that's not right and wrong, that's not dualistic, that is just, it just is. It's our power, it's our alignment, it's our connection to source. And from that authentic, beautiful space, we can live our lives. And to tell you, I'm certainly not there. I'm still learning. But the dragons and the elementals, oh my Lord, beautiful souls, have helped me so much. And they're here to help you. So hopefully this podcast has brought some clarity, some hope, some inspiration. Know that you can repeat the journey that was gifted. We just sailed through it quite quickly. But this podcast is recorded, so you can listen back and pause it and just have your own time and your own experience of the dragons. They're very much with you. They're returning to mankind ever more because they recognize that more of us are waking up to who we are, and they're holding that space for us to remember. If you go to vibedeck.com/Calista, you'll see lots of meditations, including Become Self-Empowered and Meet Your Dragon Guide, which they're really fantastic journeys. They've been recorded live, channeled live from the dragons and from the diva of Sunstone Crystal, which is also a great ally for becoming the own leader in your life. And if you ever want crystals, big shout out to my mum's shop, ethereallight.co.uk. She's got some fantastic crystals there. But for now, beautiful souls, we will end the show with love and gratitude. Thank you for being here, listening and sharing, and as ever, rise and become infinite. You are the one you've been waiting for.
You have been listening to the Soul Ascension Show with your host, Calista. Come join our community page at facebook.com/Calista Ascension. Share your feedback to support others to rise up and shine. Be inspired. Be creative. Be your radiant self. All is here for you.